Hello there. Welcome to another edition of Booktalk Tuesday with Tracy. As you can see, I am sitting outside today on my deck. Perhaps not the best view because there's a fence and a ladder and other things in the background. But anyway, you might be able to hear some birds chirping. You definitely might hear the wind noise. And speaking of that, I'm looking a little windblown myself. I just went for a little walk. But here I am. And I wanted to talk to you today about something a little bit different. I wanted to talk to you about a little book that I put together called 30 Days of Targeted Prayer, a journaling tool to boost your prayer commitment. I put this little book together in 2016, or so it tells me in the front cover, and it actually contains a lot of tools. It's a simple journal, but it does have like a weekly week at a glance list. It has a list where you can write down something for each day of the month, and then the rest of the book is basically a page for each day of the month where you can use it as a prayer journal. And the reason that I did that was I really enjoy praying for other people, and I really enjoy journaling. I've always been a person who likes to write in a diary or a journal. And so I have found over the years that those two really mesh well together. That when I am praying about something, for me, if I am writing it down at the same time and journaling it, that's a very powerful thing for me. So back probably a couple of years before I put this book together, maybe 2014 or 15, I was really impressed in my spirit to start praying for other authors, because I know as an author how much I appreciate it when people pray for me. And sometimes we don't often think of authors in that way. You know, we pray for missionaries, we pray for pastors, we pray for worship leaders and, other people who are in ministry. But in fact, writers are in ministry. At least that's my belief. And so I really wanted to pray for other authors. And so I would, think about people that I had been connecting with or knew, or people whose books I had read that I really enjoyed. And I would make a list, and then I would be praying for them. And then it got cumbersome, I guess, or tiresome sometimes to be always like making these lists and saving, putting them in my journal, and then there'd be other things in between, and if I wanted to go back and reread or pray about it, it just didn't seem very efficient. And then I thought to myself, well, why don't I just make a little journal? Like, it would be super helpful, and I'll just make it. It'll be really easy to use. And so that was the actual reason that I put this little book together. It was totally for my own use. And I will say, in the 5 years since it's been published, I haven't used it every month, but I have used it a lot. Like, I've actually bought a lot of these and used them myself. And I still use another journal, and I pray in that as well. But I find that this really helps me to focus in on one person or one topic. And so since then, I've expanded it to not just pray for other writers, but I've used it to pray for my family. So I'll list my family members maybe one month and pray through that. I've used it to pray for churches and organizations that I support. I've used it to pray for countries, for politicians, for work colleagues, even for my own projects. Like, I use it in a variety of ways. And so I have found it super helpful. And you know what? It's not expensive. You might find it helpful. In fact, right now I'm using it in conjunction with my prayer journals, Divine Appointments, daily devotionals based on God's calendar. And this is the spring edition. Here's the summer edition. I don't actually have copies of the autumn and winter editions with me. But I found it makes a really great companion for those, or for any kind of devotional book that you're using. So that's what I wanted to show you today. And I just want to remind you that if you have read and enjoyed any of my books, be it fiction, be it nonfiction, or even a little book like this, I would really appreciate it if you would pop over and leave a review on Amazon or elsewhere online. because that really, really helps authors in our author career. You can also go over to my website, which is tracykraus.com, to see all of my titles and read more about this little book or any of my books. TracyKrauss. There is no E in Tracy. There are 2 S's in Kraus. And that's it for today. I hope that you have a really lovely day. See you next time.